G'day, guys. Welcome back to Steelers Nation Australia and the AFC North rundown, where we look at all the teams, the Browns, the Bengals, the Ravens, and our Steelers. Now, I am completely biased, as you guys know. Steelers Nation Australia, a bloke in his room, talking football, talking Pittsburgh Steelers, talking about our team, and the Steelers are 4-2. Now, I'm very biased, but I try and do my best to give the Ravens a chance. Even though we smacked them around a few times, we've won like 6 out of 7. And yes, they had a pretty good win over the Lions. Right? I understand that. Lamar Jackson went off. They had a big win. They scored like 28 points in the first half. You had the Browns had a good win last week, although with 2 penalties. Dude, those flags, the Colts should have won that game, so they were helped out. And I have no idea what's going on with Watson. That guy isn't playing right now. He's got a sore shoulder. They're resting him. They're playing PJ Walker. And I think the Bengals had a bye last week. I'm pretty sure they had a bye, right? But we go to the stats. Baltimore being 5-2. You have Pittsburgh 4-2. Look at that. That's so much. You have the Cleveland Browns 4-2 and the Bengals on the bottom 3-3. So this could be seen as like the toughest division maybe in the AFC because all teams are pretty competitive. The Baltimore Ravens are playing good enough football to win. They've got Tucker. Some weeks, if they don't turn up, they just put Tucker out there and they win games with him. I'm not really a massive fan of Lamar Jackson. I think the Steelers can take care of him. But when they seem to verse other teams, they get things moving. And it's like, yeah, they're a hard side to beat. And also this week, the Ravens are versing the Cardinals too. So we need, I think Kyler Murray might be coming back and James Conner's out. So we might not see Josh Dobbs anymore over there. But we need these guys to lose so the Steelers can catch up because it's going to be Arizona Cardinals versus the Ravens. Of course, it's going to be the Steelers. I'm just checking the roster now. Steelers versus Jaguars. I think the Browns are playing 49ers, so everyone's playing this week. Yes, Browns are playing 49ers. The Bengals are playing 49ers, and Cleveland are playing Seattle, right? So let's go with the first game. Let's go with the Ravens first. We'll talk about that. And then right near the end, it's in my way. Right near the end, we'll talk about the Steelers versus Jags and what they need to do and where if they win, Steelers looking pretty good because right now, no one's talking about the Steelers. They're all giving love to Myles Garrett. They're not talking about TJ Watt. Some are. Shout out to Kay Adams. She brought up TJ Watt the other day, had him on the show. It was fantastic. But a lot of guys are talking about the Browns defense. They're talking about the troubles with Watson, talking about Lamar Jackson and their offense and how they run the rock, stuff like that, right? But let's start there. So we'll start there with it's now the Ravens are versing the Arizona Cardinals. So that's the later game. So they're versing, that's at my 7:25 a.m., might be your 4 p.m. on the East Coast. Baltimore versus Arizona in State Farm Stadium. Now, Arizona, I believe, are like 1-5 or 1-6, something of that nature. I'll bring up the standings too. Let me see where they're coming. They are 1-6. So they've lost 4 in a row, and they're getting back Kyler Murray. So this is a game that the Ravens should win. In the comments below, let me know what you think. I've got down the Ravens winning 29-17. I looked over this the other day. I feel like they might score a few points, the Cardinals, but overall, the Ravens should win this game. They might call it a trap game, something like that. But going out to Arizona, the Ravens should take control of this game and win. Lamar Jackson probably throw a few TDs. You'll see their running backs start to kill it. Mark Andrews probably get a TD or 2. I think last week too, Mark Andrews had like 2 TDs against the Lions. So I've got 29-17 with the Ravens. But if the Cardinals can pull an upset, that'd be fantastic. If they can win out there, look, the Cardinals are in not tank mode, but they're just not winning games. They're 1-6. They have no real structure or identity of who they are, just by them losing games. If they can pull an upset, that'd be fantastic, right? So I've got 29-17. Let's go to the next game. Let's talk about Browns versus Seattle. And this one, what is happening with Deshaun Watson? I've seen numerous reports out there. I've seen articles, tweets, all that kind of stuff. I think this week, again, they're going with PJ Walker. So they're going with him over DTR, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, I believe the other quarterback's name is. So they're going with PJ Walker. Cleveland won the game last week, I think 39-38, with 2 really bad flags by the refs called pass interference. And next minute, they run the touchdown zone, and they had to go. They won the game. But this week, the Cleveland Browns are versing Seattle. So they're going to Seattle all the way out to the West Coast. And that's also going to be, actually, they're all late games. Yeah, they're all at like 4 p.m. games. So the Steelers play at 1 p.m., on the East Coast, and these games are all 4 p.m. on the West Coast. Yes, Seattle's the West Coast, and we have San Fran as well. So they're playing away. Actually, is the Ravens, and the Ravens are playing away too. So the Steelers are only team that are playing at home. So you have here Cleveland versus Seattle. Now in this game, right? You'd think that the Browns would lose. I hope so anyway. I've got Seattle win this one with Geno Smith and the crew out there winning 22-13. I think it'll be a close matchup. I don't know if we can see PJ Walker score 2 TDs. I just don't see that. But their defense has been playing pretty good. Myles Garrett has been playing all right. They put him in. It's hard to say. It hurts me to say that. They've been putting him at MVP or defensive MVP level. The NFL tweeted about him the other day. They had a little picture of him up there. So they're really hyping up Myles Garrett. But you've got Geno Smith versus PJ Walker. And I'd rather trust, I think, Geno Smith and the Seahawks and Pete Carroll and those guys to get the job done. I'm going 22-13 for that one. Next one. This one's crazy because before I made the score yesterday, and I didn't know the news about Brock Purdy. I think Brock Purdy could be out with concussion. They're talking about that Brock Purdy could have been concussed on the old quote, what do they call it? Tush push. I hate calling it that. Brotherly shove. Please don't ban that play. It's a good old rugby scrum. If you take that out of the game, then you're getting rid of part of the game. But that works for the Steelers. Have been using it with Kenny Pickett, the QB sneak. It worked for us the other day in 2 scenarios to finish the game where the ref said we had a good spot, but Kenny's knee might have been down. They gave us the first down. And it's also worked in Kenny by getting some touchdowns, where he has 4 in his career and had 1 last week for a rushing touchdown. Kenny was the first rushing touchdown of the Steelers season. So don't get rid of the old tush push. Actually, just rename it. Just call it something else. I don't know what you want to call it, but I actually like that play where the quarterback holds the ball and it's one big scrum, but the NFL committee will probably go to some safety meeting and get rid of it. I hope not. Anyways, in this game, we've got Brock Purdy. I think he's in concussion protocol. So we're going to see Sam Darnold. So my score here, it might not be 31-26, but I can't be bothered changing the label or the thumbnail. So we're going to go with it. San Fran wins 31-26. I hope that Debo comes back, Debo Samuel, because I got him on my fantasy. I think you'll see a heavy dose of Christian McCaffrey. I think he'll play a lot of steps in running back. This is a game where I think the Bengals need to show up. If they don't win this one and they start to go backwards, they're 3-3 coming off a bye. I'm pretty sure they had the bye. Did they have a bye? Let me see. I'm pretty sure they had the bye last week. If I go back to week 7, yes, they had their bye. Yes, Cincinnati had their bye last week. So coming off a bye, I think the fans for Cincinnati got to start to, if they lose this one, they'll be like, oh goodness, we're 3-4. What's happening with Josh Burrow? I don't know. So this is going to be entertaining. And you know what's good too? I can watch the game. Well, you guys can watch. We can watch our game versus Steelers versus Jaguars. If we win that game, right? If we win that game, as my dog's got off the background, then we can start to watch the other 3 games at the same time and watch them all lose at once. So I've got the 49ers winning 31-26. I hope that Burrow struggles. I hope they can't find Jamar Chase. I hope that the defense knocks them around and you get who's the guy there? Nick Bosa chases them around too. Fred Warner, those kind of guys. Play some physical football for the 49ers, and I've got 31-26. All right, last game. With the last game, we have the Steelers versus Jaguars. This is a tough game, man. Very, very tough game. I've got 2 scores here that I kind of want to talk about if the Steelers play the right way. If the Steelers win this game, they will go 5-2, and I think that will really start to open the eyes for Steeler Nation that we can do this. The Steelers can do this. They can muscle up. They can play physical football. They can get back at it and really start to be like, okay, playoffs are in reach right now. And Mike Tomlin is doing a good job. Matt Canada is doing a good job. Terrell Austin, they're getting things working out. TJ Watt's a freak out there. I love the way he plays. Highsmith on the other side. If they're going to double TJ, they're going to play Highsmith. Once they do that, if they're going to bring in Marcus Golden and Nick Herbig play some good snaps too, and they're going to get him more involved. I think we'll see JPJ get more involved too, and then maybe Patrick Peterson playing the slot and Minka can help over the top and not do as much tackling. But we still might see Minka run around because he leads the Steelers, I think, with 45 tackles or 50 tackles. He's our leading tackler, right? Cole Holcomb might go on this game too. They got to pressure Lawrence and get him to move up in the pocket and also take care of Kirk and who's the other bloke? Kirk and I just had him up. The other receiver. Calvin Ridley and if Zay Jones plays, but I think he might be injured. So get to those guys. Calvin Ridley, one-on-one. I want to see more JPJ, those kind of blokes out there. I want to see Levi Wallace bounce back too. I wouldn't mind seeing Levi Wallace have a game. I know he's been getting a lot of flack that he's not the best corner out there, all these kind of things. I want to see him bounce back, get a pick, and really start to just get some turnovers at key points and don't allow the big third down and 12 or third down and 14 because this pass rush is pretty crazy, right? And we're getting back, or Cam isn't coming back yet, but we're getting back hopefully that JPJ can play more. I want to see maybe even Shannon Sullivan out there a few more times. I know he's been getting burnt, but we're starting to get back that like Steelers Blitzburg mentality or physical football. We didn't have that when we had Devin Bush or Miles Jack. Now we're getting that with Roberts, Quan Alexander. He's playing good football. And I think, too, on the offensive side, if they can run the ball like Najee was last week and Warren, and Kenny Pickens can be safe with the football and not throw turnovers and find Pickens and get DJ involved too, should be a lot of fun. But in this game, I told you I was going to do two scores. I've got the one I read down the other day, which is if the Steelers get some TDs, we see Kenny Pickett get TDs to Pickens, to DJ, and maybe a Najee touchdown, you might get 24-19. The other score I thought about too, I thought the Steelers might win 19-17. That it might be a low-scoring game, and the Steelers get Chris Boswell with 3 or 4 field goals, maybe 4 or 3 or 4, something like that, and we win the game 19-17, where they're losing 17-16, and they go in the field to win a 45-yard field goal. Chris Boswell through the uprights. You walk out of the stadium, Acrisure Stadium, Heinz Field, 19-17. But I kind of hope I want to see him do 24-19, or I want to see the Steelers win 35 or 36-3. Let's hope we have a good showing, guys. Anyways, thank you for checking out the AFC North Rundown. It's a lot of fun talking about our teams in the AFC North. If the Ravens lose, we win, the Browns lose, and the Bengals lose, it all benefits us. But I'm pretty sure to take back the North, we just need to see Baltimore lose and us win, and we should be on top. But we want these other teams to lose. Baltimore, Cleveland, and Cincinnati. If they lose and we win, it's just better for us and better for the AFC North. All right, guys, I'll see you later.